Let's get right into it. Number 10, your memory is reliable. So, you think your brain is like a hard drive, perfectly filing away memories like some smug little librarian in glasses. Yeah, no. Your memory is more like that one friend who remembers going to Woodstock even though they were born in 1998. The truth is, your brain edits, rewrites, and sometimes flat out invents moments. Scientists call these false memories, but I like to call them gaslighting yourself. Here's the deal every time you recall something. Your brain isn't pulling it from a vault, it's rebuilding it from scratch. Imagine making a photocopy of a photocopy of a photocopy. Eventually, your crisp picture of grandma baking cookies turns into a blurry Polaroid where maybe she's baking pizza, or was it grandpa point is? Details get fuzzy, emotions bleed in, and suddenly you swear you once saw Abraham Lincoln at Starbucks. Even worse, your brain can accept suggestions. Someone casually says, "Remember that time you got lost at the mall boom?" Now your brain cooks up a fake mall memory complete with you sobbing in the Gap Kids. And you'll believe it, because why wouldn't you trust your own brain after all? It's been with you since birth. That's like finding out your lifelong roommate has been stealing your socks. So yeah, your brain lies about your past. And the most disturbing part, you'll still believe it anyway, because arguing with your own memory is like yelling at a mirror. Number 9, you're totally in control. Ah yes, the illusion of control, the brain's favorite party trick. You like to think you're steering this fleshy meat suit through life like a responsible driver, but nope. Your brain is more like a chaotic toddler behind the wheel, occasionally letting you believe you're in charge. Take habits. For example, ever find yourself halfway through a bag of chips with no idea how your hand kept moving? That's not you deciding, your brain just slapped autopilot on the controls. Or when you think you're choosing to check your phone. Sorry. Dopamine made that decision 30 seconds ago while you were still pretending to pay attention in class. And don't even get me started on free will. Neuroscience studies show that your brain lights up with a decision milliseconds before you even consciously realize you've made it. Translation: your brain is basically a pushy stage mom who already picked out your outfit before you could say, "No thanks, sequins aren't my thing." The cruel joke here is that your brain needs you to think you're in control. Otherwise, you just curl up in the fetal position, waiting for the meat machine to autopilot you to the bathroom. It's like a magician making you pick the random card they shoved in your hand, and you clap anyway, like, "Wow, amazing, I'm in charge of my life." Sure you are, champ. Number 8, pain means damage. Your brain is a bit of a drama queen when it comes to pain. Stub your toe, and suddenly it's like you've been cast as the lead in a medieval torture scene. But here's the disturbing truth: pain isn't always about actual damage. It's your brain's interpretation of a situation, which means your brain can make you hurt even when nothing's wrong, or not hurt when you probably should be screaming. For instance, phantom limb syndrome. People who've lost an arm or leg still feel the missing body part itching, burning, or aching. Why? Because their brain hasn't updated its body map. It's like firing off emails to an employee who quit years ago and still getting out of office replies. Then there's adrenaline. In the heat of an emergency, you can break a bone and not even notice until later. Meanwhile, you twist your ankle walking to the fridge and suddenly your brain is sending 1,000 urgent notifications like, "Mayday, we're dying." Pain is less about injury, more about your brain deciding how much drama to sprinkle on top. So the next time your back hurts, it might not mean your spine is crumbling into dust. It could just be your brain being a helicopter parent, hovering over every creak and groan. The problem is, you can't exactly tell your nervous system to calm down. Karen, it'll just keep buzzing, convinced you're one stub toe away from writing your will. Number 7, sleep is optional. Your brain loves to convince you that skipping a night's sleep is no big deal. You'll be fine. It whispers while you're scrolling TikTok at 3 a.m, like a raccoon digging through garbage. Spoiler, you won't be fine. Sleep isn't optional, it's mandatory system maintenance. Without it, your brain turns into a broken Windows XP computer that takes 10 minutes to load Minesweeper. When you're sleep deprived, your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for logic, judgment, and impulse control, decides to take a vacation. That's why at 2 a.m, Buying glow-in-the-dark Crocs online seems like a perfectly rational idea. Meanwhile, your amygdala, the drama queen of emotions, goes into overdrive, which is why the tiniest inconvenience suddenly feels like a Shakespearean tragedy. But here's the kicker, your brain still tells you you're functioning fine. That's why you'll insist you're totally sharp while forgetting basic words like spoon or calling your cat microwave. Studies even show sleep-deprived people rate themselves as more alert than they actually are. It's like being drunk but arguing that you can definitely drive because you feel fine. So yeah, your brain lies to you about needing sleep, and the longer you believe it, the closer you get to becoming a zombie. Not the cool horror movie kind, the real world kind who forgets their own address while crying in a Taco Bell parking lot. Number 6, you're good at multitasking. Oh, this one's rich. Your brain wants you to believe you're some kind of productivity wizard, juggling 10 things at once like an over-caffeinated octopus. But reality check, multitasking doesn't make you efficient, it makes you bad at everything simultaneously. Here's how it works. Your brain doesn't actually do 2 things at once. It just switches back and forth super fast, like a kid flipping between TV channels and missing half the plot. Every time you multitask, your brain has to reload context, wasting time and burning energy. That's why checking your email while studying feels like you've just run a mental marathon. And yet, your brain insists you're killing it. You're writing an essay, scrolling Instagram, eating cereal, and listening to a podcast about Viking shipbuilding genius, except, no. What you're actually doing is giving yourself a buffet of half-digested thoughts. That's why you reread the same sentence 10 times, or end up pouring orange juice into your cereal. The worst part, multitasking lowers your IQ temporarily, at least by about the same amount as pulling an all-nighter. So congratulations, you're basically as sharp as a sleep-deprived goldfish. But hey, at least you answered that one text message mid-sentence, totally worth it. Number 5, fear is always rational. Your brain has one job, keep you alive. Unfortunately, it often overdoes it, like a smoke alarm that goes off every time you make toast. That's why you can be terrified of completely harmless stuffed clowns, pigeons, public speaking while casually walking into traffic with earbuds in. Here's the science, your amygdala is hardwired to detect threats, but instead of carefully fact-checking, it's basically slamming the panic button whenever it feels like it. Saw a shadow. Panic. Heard a noise in the dark, panic. Read your own embarrassing text from 5 years ago. Panic squared. Phobias are the ultimate lie your brain tells. Evolution taught us to fear snakes and spiders because they could kill us, but now that fear is misapplied to garden garter snakes and daddy longlegs who, frankly, just want to vibe. Meanwhile, you're out here ignoring actual dangers like heart disease because apparently cholesterol doesn't set off your amygdala. So next time your palms sweat before a presentation, just remember your brain thinks speaking in front of 20 coworkers is exactly as dangerous as being chased by a hungry lion, which is hilarious because at least the lion won't send a follow-up email about your performance. Number 4, your senses never lie. Ah yes, the old trust your senses advice. Cute, but wrong. Your senses are basically 5 unreliable interns filing reports that your brain pieces together into something vaguely resembling reality. And sometimes, those interns are drunk. Take your eyes, for example. Optical illusions show just how easy it is to fool them. Your brain doesn't process every pixel of what you see, it fills in gaps, makes assumptions, and occasionally decides that 2 identical lines are somehow different lengths. It's like autocorrect for your vision. But instead of turning duck into something else, it turns reality into nonsense. And don't even get me started on taste and smell. That $4 artisan coffee you swore was life-changing. Put it in a different cup and half of you wouldn't notice the difference from gas station sludge. Wine experts have literally been tricked into praising fine reds that were actually just dyed white wine. Your senses are less like Sherlock Holmes and more like your gullible cousin who believes every clickbait headline. But here's the kicker, your brain still acts like these flimsy senses are gospel truth, which is why eyewitness testimony is one of the least reliable forms of evidence in court. Humans literally missee, mishear, and misremember constantly. So when you say, I know what I saw, do you though? Or is your brain just running the world's worst PowerPoint presentation? Number 3, stress is motivating. Your brain likes to sell you this lie because otherwise, why would it make you freak out so much? Stress sharpens me, you say, while chugging a Monster Energy and crying into your half-finished PowerPoint at 3 a.m. Spoiler alert, stress does not sharpen you. It just makes you sweaty, anxious, and more likely to yell at the microwave for taking too long. Short bursts of stress can give you a temporary focus boost. Sure, that's your fight or flight system kicking in, dumping adrenaline into your body like it's prepping you to outrun a bear. The problem is, the bear is usually just a deadline or a text from your boss. And unlike the bear, those things don't go away if you sprint down the street. Chronic stress, though that stuff is brain poison, it shrinks your hippocampus, that's your memory center, not a hipster campus, messes with your immune system, and makes you more likely to get sick. Plus, it's a productivity killer. Stress is like trying to study with a fire alarm blaring in your head. Good luck focusing on quadratic equations while your brain screams danger at the wallpaper. So no, stress isn't motivating. It's like having an overzealous personal trainer who just keeps yelling do better until you collapse. You'll finish your work, sure, but you'll also age 10 years in the process. Number 2, other people are thinking about you. Here's the harsh truth, they're not. Everyone's too busy starring in the 24/7 soap opera of their own lives to care about the embarrassing thing you said in 7th grade. And yet, your brain insists you're constantly under surveillance, like some Truman Show reject. This little lie is called the spotlight effect. You think everyone notices when you have a bad hair day, mispronounce a word, or accidentally wave back at someone who wasn't waving at you. In reality, most people are so wrapped up in their own internal chaos that they didn't even clock your existence. The irony, while you're busy obsessing over how people might be judging you, they're doing the exact same thing. It's like a room full of actors all convinced they're the main character, none of whom realized the audience left 20 minutes ago. So the next time you cringe about a past social faux pas, just remember, nobody remembers it but you. And if they do, congrats, you've given them a free, mildly entertaining anecdote. That's basically charity work. Number 1, happiness is the goal. Your brain is a sneaky little marketer, always dangling happiness in front of you like a carrot on a stick. Get the new job, buy the fancy shoes, finally get abs, then you'll be happy. Except, nope. That happiness you chase, it's basically a mirage. You get the thing, your brain releases a squirt of dopamine, and then, silence, back to square one. Psychologists call this the hedonic treadmill. No matter how much good stuff you pile on, your brain quickly adapts and resets your happiness level like a cruel little thermostat. Win the lottery. You'll be ecstatic for a while. Sure, but within a year, you're back to the same emotional baseline, except now you also own 17 jet skis and have no friends because you keep bragging about them. Here's the disturbing twist, your brain isn't even built for constant happiness. Evolution wired it for survival, not joy. Happiness is just the brain's way of bribing you to keep doing life stuff. Eat food, yay, dopamine. Find love, yay, oxytocin. Survive another day without getting mauled by a bear, double yay. But permanent bliss, forget it. That's not in the package deal. So when your brain tells you, if I just get this one thing, I'll be happy forever, know that it's lying. Happiness is fleeting on purpose. The best you get is little sprinkles of joy on the cupcake of existence, and sometimes the sprinkles are stale. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.